In the last week, I was asked about rookie ownership and some gory details of it from a group of leaders in Zach Wagner's office and from Ahmad Zatar. And so I guess it's out there. I mean, truth be told, I did not do well as a rookie owner. And so the question was asked, like, why did you suck? Maybe they didn't quite elegantly put it that way, but why did you do so poorly? And what did you do to turn things around? And so on this episode, we're going to talk about game changers because that's really the answer. But first, let's talk about why I sucked. I think that's a great question to answer. And so I want to start off with this. I hear it happen so many times from so many new owners or an assistant manager that's going to get promoted. And of course, everybody asks, so what are your goals over the next year? And the answer is always something around the lines of, well, I want to save $100,000 in my business bank account, another $100,000 in my personal bank account, and I want to open up, 1 to 2 deals. And so as much as that's great to think highly and to have ambitious goals, I think my story is more of the norm. And I think sometimes we do a disservice to set people up with huge expectations and they get wildly disappointed if rookie ownership just does not treat you so well. So for me, I was hanging on to dear life. I wasn't thriving as a rookie owner. I was just barely surviving as a rookie. So, I didn't do so well. It took me some time to get my legs, took me some time to figure things out. And so when I really had to think about why I didn't do so well, I really lacked conviction as a rookie owner. I was just very unsure of myself. I didn't really know where I was going in this journey. I didn't have this big picture I was promoting and speaking with certainty and conviction. I kind of was going through the motions. And so if you look at 2 different people at a gym, I was clocking in the 2 hours in the gym just like the next guy, but I just was going through the motions. I was not as efficient as I could have been. So again, 2 people could say, well, hey, I went to the gym for 2 hours today, but one person can say, dude, I sweated buckets and I gave it my best. The other person can say, I read a book while I was on the treadmill. So I was the guy reading the book on the treadmill. I clocked in long hours, just was really lacking the conviction. Now, I hung in there because, well, number one, I wasn't ready to give up on the entrepreneurial spirit. Even though I wasn't doing well, I didn't want to give up on the chance to run my own business. I wasn't convinced that, Jamie, you're not an entrepreneur. Accept the fact that you're an employee and go get a job somewhere. I was just not ready to tap out, okay? I wasn't convinced that I wasn't cut out to be an entrepreneur. Second thought is, I was being a realist. I wasn't being naive to the fact that, listen, if I couldn't make it here, what made me think I could go make it elsewhere in business? What made me think I could be a successful restaurateur if I couldn't succeed in my own little coupon business in the beginning stages with tons of support, low cost, low barrier of entry? Again, what made me think I could go on to be successful somewhere else? So again, I was being a realist and I wasn't looking for greener grass elsewhere. So I kept my feet on the ground. And really, thought number 3, I hung in long enough until a game changer showed up. Now, what is a game changer? Let's start there. There's people that come into your business that are additions, right? They add value, they're adders. Then there's others that come into your business that are multipliers, okay? They have major influence. And so I've had several game changers over the years. I've been very blessed and very lucky to work with some amazing people. David Robinson, Ben Sharp, Randy Bernard, Tedford Pica, Sebastian Angus. The list goes on. I could spend 10 minutes just going through all the different game changers that came in. But a game changer is a multiplier. In sports, again, that's probably the easiest way to see it. I was digging up some statistics, like, what were the Cavaliers like before LeBron James? And then once they got LeBron, what did the record look like? And so various athletes, I was just doing some digging. And so the easiest one I can think of is obviously the addition of the multiplier of Michael Jordan when he showed up to the Bulls. And the story, you can watch this on The Last Dance and just hear some of the testimonies of what this guy was like. But it was just known in practice, right? 2 teams would scrimmage. Jordan's team would take the lead in scrimmage, and then the coach would pulled Jordan off, put him on the other team. So now the other team's got a deficit, and that team with Jordan scrimmaging would win the scrimmages, right? So he was a game changer. He influenced the entire team on the Bulls. He wasn't just an adder. He wasn't just an addition to the team. He was a multiplier because everybody leveled up with him on the team. Everybody showed up early with him on the team. And so when I think of my first game changer, right, David Robinson. Now, again, that name, most people would know the Admiral from the San Antonio Spurs, but there is another David Robinson, and I was lucky enough to hire this guy. So like I said, as I was a rookie and I was just kind of going through the motions, David shows up. Again, the law of averages. Funny how the law of averages works. I got this great recruit. This was a guy who is already a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so he already had the mindset. He saw our business for what it was, did the math, and said, this is an amazing business. I want to be a part of it. So even though I didn't necessarily deserve David on my team, I mean, he was more committed to the opportunity than I was. He had more conviction than I did. I was lucky enough to get David Robinson. Now, David influenced the team. David influenced me. All of a sudden, I started buying in more into the opportunity. I now had this white rabbit in the office that everybody was chasing. Everybody was leveling up, and I started believing more and more with each day in what I was doing. So next thing you know, fast forward the clock, the phone starts ringing, in my office. And of course the questions are asked like, hey, Jamie, you didn't do so well before. Now you're doing well. What changed? And I was always fishing for a good answer. Like, did my schedule change? Did my attitude change? Like, what changed in my business? And the answer was just really conviction. Like, I really started believing in what I was doing way more than I did. And all of a sudden, recruiting got easier, sales got easier. Everything started coming into place because conviction was there. And conviction was there because a game changer showed up to my business. A Michael Jordan joined the crew, and now everybody, including the owner, was leveling up. I think there's a couple lessons from the game-changing experience that I've had multiple times throughout my career. Lots of ups and downs. And again, every time there was an up, forward movement, there was always a game changer that joined the crew. So what are the lessons from the game changer? So number one, you got to get sold on what you're doing. If you're not sold, how can you sell? If you wouldn't buy the product, how could you sell the product? That's a good way to look at it. So, again, as the David Robinsons of this world would join the team, I really started looking at the business different. I mean, maybe because I saw so much failure or just lack of success around me, I started questioning or doubting the business. But David gave me some new life and some new belief that this was a great business. He'd even make comments like, Jamie, you're changing people's lives. I challenged him, like, changing people's lives? That guy, he worked with me for a month and he quit. Yeah, but he's better off after the experience of working with you. His social skills and his social experience is awesome. I mean, he's probably going to get a better job after working with us. And I'm like, that's a really good point. And so, I got to the point that I really felt confident that as new recruits were coming into my business, that I've got the best game in town. I'd have people coming in for interviews and challenge me like, Jamie, listen, there's a lot of companies around here hiring. Google's hiring, Facebook's hiring. Why should I work with you? And I never took offense to that question. I'm like, hey, that's a great question. You're a recent college grad. Everybody's going after you. A lot of companies desire having you on the team. And so this would always be my answer. I'm like, listen, if you're judging your opportunity or your job based on year one income, I'm probably going to be last on the list. I can't really compete with Google. I'm assuming they're going to pay you $100,000 or something like that. So again, if what you're shopping for is year one income, you don't want to work with me. However, if what you're looking for is you want to gain experience, you want to build your resume, you want to grow, and you're looking more at year 5 income, I think I've got the best game in town. I think I've got something over Google. First of all, you work with me, you're going to be working side by side with the owner of the company who takes a vested interest in every employee that works here. Plus, by the way, I'm clocking in 12 to 14 hours a day, so I'm highly committed. I'm not going to ask you to do something that I'm not doing myself. So I try my best to be a great example, a great role model, and again, I invest in everybody that I work with. I don't think you're going to meet the owners of Google. I don't think you're going to find that kind of leadership. But again, if you're judging year one income, then that's the path to go. If you're looking for leadership, growth, and year five income, I do believe I have the best game in town. So think that through. Think about your game. Do you believe, do you have conviction that you have the best game in town? If not, are there things you can do to make it the best game in town? I started adding layers onto my business on, hey, what am I doing for the community, right? Like, like it's one thing for me to make money and to run a business, but it's another thing like, am I leaving the community in a better place? Next thing you know, I started partnering with the Boys and Girls Club and created monthly events for my employees to mentor some of the kids at the Boys and Girls Club. So I thought I'm adding value to the community. I'm certainly adding value to the employees that come here. So I just want to make this a rich experience. So if you don't feel like you're the best game in town, are there things you can do to become the best game in town? So I think that's one of the lessons in getting the game changers is, having that conviction, having that confidence. Do you really believe you have the best game in town? The second thing, and I stole this from a John Maxwell seminar, somebody asked him the question, obviously most of his seminars are around leadership, but somebody asked him the question on recruiting, hey, team building, and getting the right people on the team. And John asked the person, and obviously everybody in the crowd, could take note, obviously myself included. He says, do you have a picture of the person that you're looking to hire? He says, if you don't know exactly what this person looks like, good luck getting them. But if you have a picture of the person that you want to hire, chances are you're going to hire that person. So I thought about it, I'm like, who is the person that I'm looking to hire? So I put some thought into this. I'm like, who are my best recruits, my best candidates? And I remember coming back and telling Helen and the recruiting team, I'm like, listen, I want somebody from Boston or Philadelphia, okay, somewhere East Coast. For whatever reason, I really identify with that grittiness and the East Coast humor. Like I've just met lots of Bostonians that are just sort of funny. And again, they got that grit, that Philly kind of grit. So I want somebody from the East Coast. I want somebody who's a recent college grad, somewhere between like 22 to 27 is my sweet spot. I don't care black, white. I don't care boy, girl. I just want somebody that's going to be from, that region. And I remember, because again, I had the picture in my mind. I remember I was on a phone call and Helen comes barging into my office while I'm on a call, sits a recruit down in front of me and says, Jamie, you need to interview this guy. And I'm like, listen, I got to go. Hang on. Hung up the phone, did an interview with, Ben Sharp from Philadelphia. So again, I told Helen what I wanted. I got exactly what I wanted. Ben was a game changer to the business, becomes an owner. But again, I'll never forget, having a clear picture of exactly who it is that you want. So when those people come through the door, your radar's going off, you're putting your best game on, you're ready for this. Now, I know there's other people that are off the radar that all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this person's like way sharper than I thought. So obviously you're giving everybody your best, but have a clear picture of exactly who it is that you want. I think there's something in the law of attraction of getting that person because you threw it out to the universe and the universe is giving it back to you. So those are my two tips really on getting that game changer. And I'm telling you, we all get that game changer on our team. The forward momentum, the multiplication factor happens, not the addition factor, but these are multipliers. One game changer equals 10 plus reps in your business. 3 game changers is an office of 30 plus reps. So obviously we want those game changers. So I hope you guys took value in this video.